Deadwood Production presents Off the Deep End. Episode 9, The Basement.
May 19th, 2015. Dear Asher, it's been 10 months since you died and the semester is almost over. The JV football team got together and put up a memorial for you in the award case outside the gym this morning. They used one of the first day of school pictures you took as a freshman. Your hair was kind of a mess that day. Mom didn't really know what to do with it. There was a glare on your glasses. But of course, you had that big-headed smile on your face. I couldn't stop staring at it. I've been trying not to look at it all day. It's hard enough as it is to find traces of you inside our house, but you were right there, Ash. You were right there. Stuck between a bunch of meaningless trophies, grinning that stupid fucking grin. Needless to say, I skipped the last of my classes today. I couldn't do it. I was already the kid with the dead brother. I didn't want to be the kid who cried about said dead brother in class, too. Pre-calc is for the birds, anyway. I was able to convince Judith to hang out with me for a few hours afterwards, which was nice. We did some window shopping at the mall, got lunch at Cain's. My treat, of course. Had some extra cash stashed away, and I'm nothing if not a gentleman. We sat inside for a while, not talking much. She didn't change as much as everyone else seemed to after you died. Her light dimmed, but at least she acted like nothing was wrong. Maybe for my sake. It's selfish, but I'm thankful for it. I need some goddamn normalcy around here.
Are you okay?
I hate that question.
Do you want to talk about it?
I hate that question too.
You don't skip classes like this.
As far as you know. Sorry, that was mean. School's not worth being at right now.
Jude reached for my hand across the table.
You can talk to me. I'm all ears.
She said my name and I flinched. A pit formed in my stomach. I know how it sounds, but don't go thinking I hate my name, okay? It's more feminine than I look and weirdly religious, sure, but there's nothing wrong with it. Mom's mom got it from her Baptist Bible, said it meant strong-willed and determined like all the Jefferson women before me. I thought it was sweet when Mom first told me that, but it's like eating the same meal over and over and over again. I want something new, something that isn't that. I want a simple name, or a cool nickname like yours, Ash. My name's too short for all that, so there's no point. I can't figure out why it feels so bad, but it does. Bad enough for me to excuse myself abruptly and hide in the Cain's bathroom for God knows how long trying to get my breathing right. Embarrassing. The shittiest thing, though, was what happened after I came home. Mom and Dad were in the kitchen waiting for me. The school called them about my absence because of course they did, and they weren't exactly thrilled. I'll admit that I haven't exactly been going to class as often as I should, and my grades could be better. But why should they be? What's the point? The only thing people see when they look at me is you. I hate it. I fucking hate it. And I hated Mom and Dad for giving me that same goddamn look. There was an argument and some things were said. A few by me. I'm not proud of it. And now I'm grounded for the rest of the week. So here I am, writing to you again. I'm in your room, actually. Comfy and cross-legged on your bed. Hope you don't mind. It feels like it'll be coming back any minute now. Probably to tell me to get the hell out of your room and throw something at me when I don't budge. God. What I wouldn't give for you to yell at me again. I didn't think I'd miss it this much, but I do. I really, really do. now more than ever. I don't want to cry, so I'll continue the story instead. That, and I'll get the hell out of your room, too. I've been here for a good hour, and no offense, it's starting to give me the creeps. Jude wanted me to keep reading, but I heard you come back into the house. Your movements were so clear, crystal clear, as if I was downstairs with you. I felt dizzy again. The house was trying to tell me something. It was warning me, but why? I wanted to show you the treasure trove Jude and I had stumbled upon so we could make sense of it together. But that didn't happen. The house didn't want it to happen. The floor creaked so loud I felt it in my chest, like bad congestion. In seconds, Jude and I were back in the hallway. Abel's journal was in my hand, and the attic was... well... the attic was gone. I doubled over and coughed so hard I thought I'd spit up my lungs. Jude stared at where the attic had been on the ceiling, just as transfixed as she was before. How long have we been up there? 30 minutes? An hour? A time that existed outside of time. That's what the attic was. My chest ached. My head spun trying to make sense of the sudden change. I know there was an attic there. I know there was. But at the same time, there wasn't. I had been inside of it. I had photographic evidence. Abel's leather-bound journal was as solid as the pain in my chest. But the memory of it was hazy at best. It was so outlandish, so absurd that my subconscious tried to overwrite it. The thought of there being an attic in that house just didn't seem real. Did Mom and Dad know about it? Did the other tenants? Had Jude and I stepped into another reality? Another world entirely? Was the house playing mind games with me? Maybe. Maybe there never was an attic. I don't know. The coughing subsided when the congestion went away. I wiped my mouth with the back of my hand and it came away with specks of blood. I didn't mention it to Jude. I cleaned myself up in the bathroom. There was some blood between my teeth. I didn't question it. I knew why. I smelled salt water before I saw you. You were damp and your hair was in desperate need of a thorough wash. You tipped an invisible hat to us. "Ladies," you said, "how's the morning treating you?" I rolled my eyes. It was never too early for you to be corny.
Good until you said that.
Oh, Asher, we found this interesting book. It's so strange. All the entries we've read so far were written exactly 100 years ago. Can you believe it?
No, you said honestly. I really can't. You were smiling as Jude rambled on, not fully understanding until I told you it was written by our great uncle, one of Grandpa Seth's older brothers. You looked at me confused. "Wait," you said, "Dad has uncles? Since when?" I was going to retort with a "since always, idiot," but I didn't once I remembered what kind of person Dad is. Dad doesn't speak much of his past, or much of anything relating to his side of the family. We didn't even know he had another sibling, a brother, until like 4 Thanksgivings ago. And that was only because Mom told us the guy was in state but was sick, so he couldn't make it. Dad was the least vulnerable guy I knew. How he got with Mom will forever be a mystery to me. She's the complete opposite. But I'm getting off track here. I handed the journal over and watched you flip through the pages. "How come it stops after July 18th, you asked, showcasing a bunch of blank pages after it. Under the hallway's bright fluorescent lights, to Jude and I's surprise, Several pages had dried up as if they'd been doused in liquid. The inked writing was smudged but not beyond comprehension, and a few of them were even a little sticky at the edges, sticking a handful of pages together at a time. The paper itself felt weird too, rough and worn in. What the hell did Abel put this thing through?
Maybe he forgot it here?
Or he left it here on purpose, you said. It's a diary, isn't it? It's private. I wouldn't want someone snooping through it either. I didn't tell you it was hidden under the floorboards. I didn't tell you about the attic at all.
I guess it is private. Do you think we should put it back?
There was a puddle of salt water where you stood. You shrugged, moving past us to the bathroom, leaving behind a trail of salt water in your wake. Having joined you on your morning swims once or twice, standing there soaked to the bone wasn't the best feeling, which meant that the conversation was over. I asked Dad about Abel at dinner, and God, Mom made such good shepherd's pie that night. Probably the last good dinner we had before everything.
Dad, what was Uncle Abel like?
Dad stopped mid-chew. Mom bit her lip, chewing on it worriedly. "Sweetie," she said in that voice. You know the one.
What? I was just wondering. Jude and I found something, and...
"I wouldn't know," Dad said. Mom put her fork down.
What do you mean?
"I wouldn't know what he's like," Dad said. "Your grandfathers didn't talk about either of his brothers much, but Abel..." Dad shifted in his seat. Then he cleared his throat. "He passed away before I was born," he said. He didn't look sad, necessarily, but he definitely looked uncomfortable.
I'm really, really sorry for your loss, Mr. Jefferson. We were just curious about...
Dad stopped her. "It's all right, Judith," he said. He was calm, but he wasn't looking at any of us. Only at his food, his fork and knife still in hand. "It's no one's fault," he said. "You didn't know." Mom put a hand on his arm, and I regretted ever asking the question. "Do you know how he died?" you asked. Jude and I gave you the same look. You know the one. Dad ignored the both of us. "I don't know the details," he said, "but from the little your grandfather told me, Abel had an accident and drowned." The table went silent. You could damn near hear a pin drop. "We didn't want to scare you kids," Mom said, "so we never mentioned it. But it happened not too far from here."
You mean... he died here?
Mom nodded solemnly. Again, silence. "He was around your age, I think," Dad said, nodding at you and I. My mouth hung open, too shocked to say a word or even look for your reaction. Mom told him that was enough, continuing to eat her dinner in little bites. "What about his brother?" you asked. "Reading the room wasn't your strongest trait, was it?" Dad chuckled bitterly, shaking his head. "My Uncle Clayton is another story altogether. One that I'm not having at the dinner table," he said. He didn't elaborate, and Mom said we could talk about it more after our vacation was done, so we didn't darken our time there. Obviously, that never happened. The three of us, you, me, and Jude, went to bed that night without a word. It wasn't much to talk about, I guess. Even the house was quiet, and with how loud and creaky it got at night, it was probably a first. It really makes you think, you know? Can a house like that grieve? Can a house grieve at all? I mean, probably not, but you know what I'm trying to say. It's what I was saying before. With how long the house knew us, it may have felt the heaviness of your death just as I did. Just as we all did, if not more so. I couldn't sleep that night. I couldn't imagine Great Uncle Abel going out that way. And so young, too. The image of him gasping and struggling to get his head above water, only to fail. His lungs filling up with water as he sunk deeper and deeper and deeper until...
Can't sleep?
No, I can't stop thinking about,
Yeah, I know. Me neither.
I had no idea what time it was. You were fast asleep. Jude came over to sit on my bed and hold my hand in hers. Her face looked so beautiful and so sad in the moonlight. At the same time, holding her hands was like holding a block of ice. So cold it burned.
Jude, you're freezing.
You really don't have to. I'm fine. I promise. I'm fine.
There. Do you feel any warmer?
A little.
Were you this cold this whole time? Why didn't you say anything earlier?
Because I didn't want you to worry. I don't want to be a bother.
You're literally a guest. You're supposed to be a bother.
I know, but still. I don't want to be a bother to you. For what we know, if our earthly house of this tabernacle were dissolved, we have a building of God, a house not made with hands, eternal in the heavens.
What was that?
Something people at my church say when someone dies. At least that's what they said when my grandma passed. It's supposed to make people feel better.
What's a tabernacle?
I don't really know. We're not supposed to ask. My parents say it's the same as questioning the scripture.
Why is that bad?
Because it's blasphemous.
But how will you know what that means if you don't ask questions?
I don't know. Some of the rules are confusing.
Did it make you feel better?
Do you want to hear about the dream I had?
When?
Last night. I sketched it, actually. Do you want to see?
Of course I wanted to see. I always want to see what she draws. She got her sketchbook out and flipped through it until she stopped on her recent charcoal sketch. A large, cavernous room, dimly lit based on her shading. And at the center was a small figure with a flashlight and something that looked like a book in hand. The drawing was still, but the figure was in motion. The darkness at the edges of the pages closing in as the figure descended the last stair leading into the room. A pen tucked behind the figure's ear had the least amount of detail, but it was all so...
It was so vivid. I just had to draw it. I had a bird's eye view of everything, like I was actually there. This will probably sound weird, but it almost felt like a memory that wasn't mine.
What is this place?
I think it's the basement, but I'm not sure.
The basement. Our basement. My first thought was that maybe the house was giving her something. But I didn't say it.
Not weird at all. Oh, okay, a little weird.
Hey!
But that's part of the charm. I'm sure other weirdos would love it. Seriously though, Jude, you have real talent here.
You're just saying that to be nice. It's not that good.
It is that good.
My parents don't think so. They think it's satanic.
They think everything is satanic.
They also think it's a waste of time. And they're probably right.
No, they're not right. Just because they can't see the value in your art doesn't mean you should stop doing it. Anyone who can't see how great you are can get screwed.
You really think so?
Of course. I meant how great of an artist you are, but that too. Need more blankets? Oh,
No, this is fine. You're really warm.
I guess running hot has its perks.
Can you read more from Abel's journal?
You want to hear more?
Mm-hmm. You have a really good speaking voice.
So I obliged. I wasn't gonna sleep anytime soon, so I read an entry or two. And even when I thought Jude had finally fallen asleep, I read a couple more.
Entry 31, July 13th, 1914.
Woke to Papa muttering complaints under his breath at the breakfast table. Something about how inconvenient it was to eat butter on toast rather than Mama's breakfast cooking. Mama woke later than she usually does. She apologized to Papa and Clay and I, said she went to bed early with a headache, but Papa wasn't happy to hear it. He shook his head and said he'd let it slide, but only this once. Mama made us eggs, bacon, and oatmeal. That was a little lukewarm according to Papa. Clay didn't like the taste of it, so I got his leftovers. It was delicious.
Entry 32, July 13th, 1914.
Papa is very insistent that Clay and I complete the various manly tasks he set out for us. The first of which being chopping wood. It's a shame this neighborhood is nearly desolate. I would rather play with other boys my age, since Clay was so unwilling. We played together all the time when we were children, but now I suppose we aren't anymore. Children, that is. We were growing men, and we could no longer do childish things or play childish games. Something terrible was happening in the world of men. As Papa told us, a war was brewing, and we must be prepared to serve our country when the time comes. Even if they hated people like us, even if they never made space for us. We had to make our own. Grandfather had been a military man, and Papa wanted to be one too. They both knew what the world of men was like. We believed him, and so we stopped playing. Speaking of Clay, he doesn't seem as mad as I thought he'd be after last night. I was expecting the silent treatment, but in the brief time we spent in our room, he got dressed, cleaned his newly crooked glasses, and grabbed one of his books and met Papa downstairs without a word. I don't want him to be mad at me. If Papa gives us a break, I plan to apologize and make things right between us again.
Entry 33, July 13th, 1914.
The day was so unbearably hot, the shade from the trees hadn't saved me. And despite how light and effortless Papa made it seem, axes are quite heavy. Sweat kept trickling into my eyes no matter how much I used my shirt to wipe it away. Clay's glasses slipped off his sweaty face so much that he set it aside, which didn't make things any easier. Suffice it to say, he didn't have much luck either, which made me feel a little better. We struggled, but hell, at least we were together. What else are brothers for? No, 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 Papa shouted at him and advanced. It was hard not to flinch when Papa had raised his voice, and I did my best not to. Clay couldn't help himself, though, and I can't blame him. Papa pushed against his tree and came toward him fast. His anger split his lips into a snarl, and like a mad wolf, he growled, getting in Clay's face. How many goddamn times I have to show you? Papa continued. Your brother was able to do it. Why can't you? Clay said nothing. Papa muttered, worthless invert. Give me that. The way Papa said that word invert sounded weird. Like he was trying to spit out tobacco. Something nasty. Clay's body froze like he was trapped in ice. His bottom lip trembled, and the sight of him in that state made my eyes well up in tears. In that time, Papa snatched the axe from him, and poor Clay flinched so hard he fell backwards onto the shaded dirt. I knelt down to help him up, but he shrugged me off, still considerably stunned and embarrassed, all at once. Neither of us noticed Papa swinging the axe over his head, showing us how it was done one last time. He put the whole of his anger into 1, 2, 3 good swings, and put the newly split wood into a pile with the rest of them. I'm not gonna show you again, Papa said, and stuck the whole blade of the axe in the chopping block. The force behind it cracked the block, and this time, I did flinch. Papa left the woods soon after that, and then it was just me and Clay. Clay and me as it's always been. Clay's on the ground, still as a stone, face twisted in an anger I'd come to know quite well. It was like Papa had left some of his anger behind, and now it resided in Clay. Anger didn't make him look scary like it did with Papa, but it didn't look good on him either. My hand was still outstretched to help him up. He ignored it and stood up on his own, and in one swift motion kicked at the trunk of a nearby tree. He kicked at it so hard the bark chipped on impact, but he didn't stop. He kept kicking again and again and again and again, hurting himself until I got the courage to pull him away. He ripped his arm from my grip and rounded on the axe. He tried to pick it up. The veins in his skinny arms bulged so much, I was afraid something in them might burst. He strained and tugged and pulled, but nothing came of it. Clay was breathing hard, and he didn't say anything for a long time. You have to understand, Journal. My brother is not a violent man. No, he is not a violent boy. He would rather run from a bug than study its form up close like I do, let alone kill one. And yet I shivered and had a thought so twisted my stomach ached. What if he had freed the axe from its block? What if there were no trees around? What if it was just Clay, the axe, and me? The thought faded as Clay donned his glasses again, his eyes wet with tears. Truth be told, Journal, it was a silly thought to begin with. I had nothing to worry about. I was only scared due to Papa's outburst, and Clay was not Papa. He would never hurt me. Clay wiped his tears with his sleeves and looked at his hands. They were as calloused and dirty as mine were, and sure to bruise. His foot would be worse. I asked him what the word invert meant, not knowing how else to break the silence. His body went still again, though less so than before. Nothing, he said, convincing me of the exact opposite. He wouldn't look at me. Journal, why wouldn't he look at me? I think you were right, he said on our walk back to the house, his voice sad and heavy. This was the first of many. Clay had never admitted I was right about anything. He wiped the dirt off his shorts and told me he was going to the library. We saw one on the way to the house, but the walk into town would be a long one. When I said this, Clay only responded with a dry, "I'll manage," leaving me. It's been hours, and I haven't seen him. Papa isn't too worried. In fact, he likes how independent we are, how often we go off on our own for long stretches of time. Mama, on the other hand, frets close by the front door when we're gone for too long. She's doing it now, anxiously parting the curtains to look out the window. I thought I saw Clay walk back into the house instead of the main road, but perhaps the heat is getting to me. There is no library here. If there was, Clay would never leave it. As I sit and write this, I'm thinking back to the tree Clay kicked in the woods. Once Clay was gone, I went back to the clearing and touched the battered tree with a gentle hand. With the mood Papa was in, he would have hated that kind of kindness. But man or not, I want to be good. I want to be kind. In place of Clay, I rested my forehead against this trunk. Poor thing, it didn't do anything to deserve that.
Entry 34, July 13th, 1914.
I decided while Clay is gone, I'm gonna explore the basement. Being an explorer wasn't playing like Papa and Clay saw it as. It meant I could make discoveries. It meant finding things, dangerous things, and studying them to further more means of exploration. A lot of men explored. Forests, deserts, the ocean. Perhaps a man could one day explore the vast greatness of space. Clay was wrong, Journal. I wasn't playing pretend, and I wasn't playing a child's game. I was discovering the unknown. And that was exactly why I must explore the basement. I have my flashlight to fight against any darkness, and I'll use this journal to write down my discoveries. I will be brave. I am brave.
Entry 35, July 13th, 1914.
The floor is warm and squishy. Even with my loafers on, the air is uncomfortably humid. I see no windows. Big, empty space. I thought maybe the previous renters would have left something behind, but...
Entry 36, July 13th, 1914.
I was too deep in panic to write anything in the moment, but now that the day is settled, I will recount the nightmare. The nightmare that was the basement. I couldn't get the flashlight to work, and nothing but complete and total darkness and unfamiliar fear encased me. I wasn't alone in that room, and I could have sworn I heard the house breathing. Rapid breaths, the floor twisting with each one, matching my own beating heart. I ran as fast as I could, racing up the stairs, turning the knob to my exit. It didn't budge. I tried again. No dice. I knew Mama and Papa were around. Surely they could have heard me. I thought perhaps, maybe in a brief moment of heartlessness, Clay had locked the door from the outside, knowing that I was still within. As a cruel prank perhaps, because of the damage I did to his glasses. The words from our fight echoed in my head. I hit the door hard. I banged, kicked at the door until my hands and feet grew sore. And afraid I was damned to a darkened hell forever, I wept. Our pastor talked of hell while the choir sang their warning songs. Was this the hell they were singing about? A living, breathing one? I felt the house around me take one shuddering breath after another, as if it were weeping with me too. I don't know how long I was in that hell, but Pop came to release me from my prison. I told him my plight, but he only shook his head at me. We had no basement, he said. He thought I'd gotten myself stuck in a closet instead. Clay seemed surprised to see how red my eyes were during dinner. He used a gentle tone with me and suggested that I take a break from adventuring for a bit. I couldn't agree more.
Stains blotted the page, and my last thought was of Jude's drawing and how the figure was beginning to look more and more like Abel in my mind before I fell asleep. It wasn't hard not to think much of it. Maybe every basement looked like that. I didn't really have dreams before you died. Not elaborate ones. The dreams I did have were mostly the ones that vanished from my mind as soon as I woke up. Or, in the rare case of a recurring dream, had to do with me being trapped, surrounded by broken funhouse mirrors. They never depicted anything fun, mind you. Only me in an array of clownish dresses and skirts. That dream makes me wake up in a cold sweat every time, no matter the weather. I can't look at myself for days afterwards. Whatever that meant. But when you died, Ash, my dreams got weirder. More surreal. The strangest dream I had before you died, though, happened that night. I was in the attic. The world outside was dark, and the room no longer had the armchair, nor did it have any books. A lit candle flickered on the bedside table, and I knew I wasn't truly me. Not physically. I was someone else. A young boy with glasses, but that was all I could gather. Whoever I was looking through his eyes, suffocated by a cold darkness. I felt like I was stuck in a pool of molasses, and I couldn't hear much either. But whatever the boy felt, I felt in a distant, muted kind of way. Our face was wet, our vision blurry as the boy took off his glasses. Our bodies shuddered as we collapsed on the floor and rested our head on the edge of the bed, now perfectly made. I inched little by little around the darkness and heard the boy's cries. Our cries. Please, we whispered. Please, please, Lord, strike me down, for I have sinned beyond forgiveness. Our hands were clasped and wet. We never prayed for anything that mattered before, but we did now. Please, we said again. Make it go away. Tell me this isn't real. This can't be real. Our hands trembled, arms sore, breath ragged, lungs in pain from exertion. Have we been running? Or carrying something heavy, maybe? We unclasped our hands and... Ash, I don't know if you believe me, but God, Asher, it was blood. So much of it. Dark red and still damp from something? I don't remember. We don't remember. No, we refuse to. It's in our fingernails, Ash. There's not enough air in our lungs. He's scared. We both are. He keeps saying the same thing over and over again, and I'm scared. What did I do? He says. He can't stop crying, Ash. And neither can I. What did I do?
Episode 9 features Ricky Clairvoyant as narrator, Pollux as young Cain, Alyssa Roldan as young Judith, and Darian as Abel Jefferson. Deadwood is a podcast written and created by Saniyah Hill and co-produced by Makenna Fulgham. This episode was co-written and edited by Daniela Vega Labrador, J.E Berkowsky, and Meaghan McDonald. The audio editing was done by Alyssa Roldan. The music is by Julius H., and the lovely cover art is by Scinna. You can find Deadwood on Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, Bluesky, or you can send a message to our email at deadwoodpod@gmail.com. Thank you for listening. The beginning starts at the end.